All right, guys, let's learn how to multiply decimals. So we have 5 and 1300ths times 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to place the longer number on top. So 5 and 1300ths is longer than the number 2. So that's going to go on top like that. So go ahead and set your paper up. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to multiply like normal, and we're going to ignore the decimal. So 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 5 is 10. Now we're going to count the decimal places, which are the numbers right behind the decimal point. So the 5 has a decimal right behind it, and it has 2 decimal places behind it. 1, 2. So I'm going to write a little baby 2 next to it so that I can see my 2 decimal places. The number 2 is a whole number. And even though the decimal is invisible, there's nothing behind it. So I'm going to put a 0. And then I'm going to add it. I have 2 decimal places total. Then I'm going to move the decimal in the answer the same amount of places. So wait a minute, where's my decimal? Oh yeah, it's at the end. It's invisible. I remember that the invisible decimal is behind the whole number. Remember how being invisible is like a superpower? And superheroes wear capes? Dun, da, da, da. The cape is behind me. So the decimal is behind the number. So now let's move it. We're going to move the decimal one time from there to there. And then we're going to move it one more time from there to there. And we're only moving it twice because our problem has 2 decimal places. And our answer is 10 and 26 hundredths. Let's try another example. I want you to pause the video and try this one by yourself. 2 and 3/10 times 4 and 25 hundredths. So first, let's place the longer number on top. Which one's longer? Yeah, that one's longer. So let's put that one on top. Times 2 and 3/10. All right, guys, let's multiply 4.25 times 2.3. And one of the first things that I do is I use something that's called turtle multiplication to help organize my multiplication. So I make a turtle head like this. That's my turtle's head, and her name is Charlotte, and she's my favorite person in the whole wide world. And all right, so we're going to multiply 3 times 5, 3 times 2, and 3 times 4. All right? So 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 4 is 12. And this is what we're going to do. Next, Charlotte likes to go out for walks. So I have to put a collar on Charlotte. And for some reason, my turtle's a little weird and she grows hair. So any number that I carried, I'm going to check off. And that's her little hair. Isn't she cute? Yeah, she's a little weird, but it's okay. All right, so then we're going to have a little turtle egg, and Charlotte's going to have a little baby. And that's her little turtle egg. And his name is Henry. And that's your placeholder. So basically, we got rid of a number and we have a placeholder. Now it's the 2's turn. So we're going to multiply 2 times 5. We're going to start at the same number on top. 2 times 5, 2 times 2, and 2 times 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And 2 times 4 is 8. So now that we multiplied like normal, our first row of multiplication is 1,275, and then we need a placeholder. And then our second row of multiplication, which is when we multiplied the 2, is 850. Then we go ahead and add that together, and we get 9,775. Now, that's how we multiply like normal. We don't worry about the decimal. We don't do anything with the decimal yet. The next step is when we worry about the decimal. So now we're going to count the decimal places. So our first number has 2 decimal places. So we're going to put a little baby 2 on the side. Our next number has 1 decimal place. So we're going to put a little 1 on the side. And then we're going to add that together for a total of 3 decimal places. Now we're going to move the decimal in the answer the same amount of places. Where's your decimal? Where is it? It's behind me! Dun, 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 dun! Super Timpone! That's a baby blanket, but that's okay. Here's your decimal. It's behind it. There it is. All right, let's move it 3 times. 1. So the decimal is going to move from there to there. 2. So from there to there. And 3 from there to there. And that gives us our final answer of 9 and 775 thousandths.